All right, hey guys, I literally just got home, just sat down. I haven't even changed or showered yet. I just got home from work, and we're reacting to the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer because I couldn't even go on the internet. There's gonna be spoilers everywhere, and I wanted to just avoid that and just get a complete fresh take on this. Also, the time is 222. That's kind of funny. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not, but FNAF 2, there's 3 2s down here at the time. That's kind of funny. But anyway, let's just get right on to this. I'm super excited. So we'll do a quick watch through the entire thing, and then I'll go back and I'll kind of break it down a little bit, and then maybe I'll save an actual full trailer breakdown for a different day. But reaction time. It's time to watch this. All of you have probably seen this already. I haven't, so we're gonna watch this.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Definitely not the Freddy's I remember.
You're thinking of the franchise location. This is the original. Nobody's been here for decades. Some little girl got murdered here. Do you guys hear that?
Hear what?
Puppet. Come on, puppet. Show me the puppet. Come on. They're not gonna show the puppet.
So this is what it's like? Being normal?
I think we've come pretty far, considering what we've been through.
How's Abby?
Some days she's good. Some days she misses her friends.
This story that you're gonna fix those animatronics? It's only giving her false hope.
Can any of you hear me?
Abby, help us. Come find us. I will show you the way.
Who cares about Chica?
Oh no.
They're out there, Mike.
That was the puppet.
Everywhere.
The puppet.
Where are you gonna run to?
Oh, boys. Holy.
I'm not done with you.
There's no way that'll work.
Yo, the freaking withers. That was freaking nuts. Except, where the heck was my boy Toy Body? Come on, man. I was hoping to see him in his full glory. Where the heck was he? Anyway, that was peak. That was absolutely amazing. All right, let's go through this again. I feel like this might be the opening scene, so I'll mute it so that whenever we listen to the things, I don't talk over it. So we have a group of people checking out Freddy's. Probably some sort of Ghostbusters-esque thing. It kind of reminds me of that. These are probably some sort of paranormal hunters. They kind of look like they got some equipment here. My guess, and they talk about here. Actually, let me see if I can find it again. They talk about
The original. Nobody's been here for decades. Some little girl got murdered here.
Yeah, so they say some little girl got murdered here. Charlie, for sure, especially with the fact that we get to see the puppet in here. So this gives us a decent timeline scenario of the fact that the mini game that we see in, at least for the movies, it might be different in the games, but there's the potentiality that the puppet was at, this was the, they say this is the original location. So I'm curious to see how they work that in, and maybe the save her mini game takes place here. Who knows? It's interesting that they said it's the original location, though, because then how did the withers fit into this? I want to take a look at their design, because I'm curious to see if they look more... Here, let's just do that right now. I'm curious to see. So they definitely look far more like the actual withers. Man, that's kind of hard to... It's hard to get a good look at them there. They go really fast. So you got the Freddy mask. which looks a lot just like regular Freddy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they are different designs. I was curious to see if they were going to do, and maybe they still will in some way, have it be that these are the originals, just broken down. But obviously they do look a lot more like the Wizards. Her head seems a little bit big for this one. Her design, I'm not a big fan of Withered Chica's design. It's okay. So he puts the mask on, and Chica's just kind of like, okay, you're Freddy. But we get to see my glorious man, Withered Bonnie. He looks freaking stunning here. Look at that. He looks stunning. Also, is that like a... It's like a row of teeth up there? They kind of look like teeth. Oh, didn't mean to right click there. They kind of look like teeth. It's hard to say. Also, but like, why are his eyes blue? His eyes are supposed to be red. Why are his eyes blue? Anyway, I was curious to see if they looked more like the ones from the first movie. They don't. They obviously look a lot more like the Wizards. I'm curious to see how they tie into that. So anyway, back to the trailer. My guess, these are some sort of paranormal people. They're going here. This would be the start of the movie, I imagine. We get to see them explore this location, which interestingly still has power. And it's out in the middle of the woods somewhere. So this definitely gives me like Fredbear's from the books-esque vibes. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this. It looks a lot more abandoned than the Freddy's in the first one. That's for sure. And this is out in the middle of freaking nowhere. So I'm curious to see how they're going to do that. We get to see them go in. This I found interesting. This is like straight out of the Twisted Ones. So in the Twisted Ones, there's a part where there's an underground restaurant underneath of Charlie's house. And there's a lot of references to Balloon Boy down there for some reason, which makes sense here. But it talks about, it's the whole like underground cave with the glowing mushrooms and waterfall. That's what everybody talks about, which is like barely mentioned in the book. But there's a part where they talk about there being an artificial river through a cave system. That's literally just this. So the connections between the Twisted Ones and here are definitely strong, and I'll talk about more where I think the plot of the movie is going, because if it's like the Twisted Ones with this, I'm curious. Like, I think my idea for where the plot's going to go would make sense. Also, a lot of puppet plushies here, which is a very like security breach thing, so maybe the puppet plushies actually mean something. I doubt it, but you know, maybe. So they look around. We get to see our first, well, not our first look, but our better look here at a version of Balloon Boy. I don't know if this looks more like a statue than it does actual Balloon Boy, because we see him in the previous teaser, although there, you know, he's a lot more fixed up. So to me, this looks a little bit more like just a statue than it does an actual animatronic. Some sort of kids, maybe a version of Kids Cove, because they got the pirate setting. And then the toys themselves, which have the plastic wrap. And they are really hiding Toy Bonnie. I think they're doing it on purpose. They don't want me to see my glorious man Toy Bonnie. We get to see these two plenty. He's just hiding under a sheet. This is our best freaking look at him. I just want to see my man Toy Bonnie. We got to see more of the puppet than we did Toy Bonnie. Like, what do they have against this guy? So we got the three toys here. They're chilling. They look really good, though, I will say. They're models. Puppet plushie. But yeah, see, like, this is just a very artificial cave, which is what it was described in the Twisted One. So I'm very curious there. Okay, no, I'm gonna put the volume back on. It's really quiet.
Hear what?
Some more underground facility, potentially sister location connection or Henry connection. Hard to say here. This room is very interesting. A huge freaking gear room with the puppet box. I don't remember anything like this being in any of the books. So I keep right clicking. So very curious here. And how everything's dusty, but the puppet box looks pretty good. I'm guessing. So she screams. I'm guessing there's a shot later where the puppet shows up. I'm guessing that's where that takes place. Blumhouse, yep, so you got the spinning wheel. They're chilling out again, so she's fine. They're going on a fancy little date. I didn't even really realize that. They're going on like a nice little date. That's nice. A shot from the first movie, Golden Freddy. I'm curious to see how he'll come back in this. So they're just chilling, they're talking. This is very novel. Twisted Ones Charlie? Where in the Twisted Ones, Charlie was building little tiny robot heads that could talk to each other. That kind of, this is what the vibes that it kind of gives me there, where Abby's working on a bunch of little animatronics.
She misses her.
And she's making like little, like probably working animatronics. That's kind of the vibe it gives me. So even more Twisted One connections there. I think that's the plot that they're going to go with.
Friends.
Oh, the little picture of them all sitting on the ground. Interesting, though, that we're seeing her draw the toys. I know in the first movie she had, like, the visions of the ghosts and stuff like that. So maybe that's what we're seeing here. Okay, so Flash of the originals.
Story that you're gonna fix those animatronics.
I'm curious to see where she gets this.
It's only giving her false hope.
Can any of you hear me?
I'm curious to see where she gets this from, though. I'm not sure whose house this is. Maybe this is the house that they're just staying in for now. Seems like it. So they moved somewhere.
Abby.
Maybe they moved in with Vanessa. Who knows?
Come find us.
So they know who Abby is, and I have a feeling that it's not the toys talking, but either the Wizards or the originals, or if the originals are supposed to be the Wizards, then them. But I have a feeling that they aren't supposed to be the toys.
I will show you the way.
So then, some sort of stage? I wonder who would be out here. Okay, so a much better look at Toy Chica from that shot. I have to say, I'm not the biggest Toy Chica fan, but, like, excellent work on the suits this time around as well. Like, the suits in the first movie, great. I feel like the toy suits here, like, just spectacular. They look amazing. Like, it's all, like, the practical effects here, too. Like, and there would be some, you know, CGI, but, like, it all just looks really nice.
Oh, no.
This shot, Mangle strangling somebody from the ceiling. That's going to be awesome to see in the theaters. Mangle attacking somebody. Oh, so this is from the start. Because it's got the same recording and the same sort of battery level. So Mangle attacking somebody from the start. I have a feeling that the scene, you know, like I was talking about, this whole thing is going to be at the start of the movie. That's going to be our introduction to the toys. Or it's going to be one of the earlier scenes in the movie. Evil. I didn't even read the words. Okay, so they're chilling in the school. The puppet hand. So this is the shot where she screams. So she looks down here. Oh, wait, that's the same stage from the top. Oh, so that little hexagon pattern, where is it? We saw it here. Oh, hang on. So this thing. So this will open up, and the puppet rises out of there, it seems like.
Out there, Mike.
Because that looks like the same thing. So the puppet rises out of there to perform the show. But the shot where the lady looks up and screams, that's this shot. So she looks in here, the box is empty, and then she's going to look in and be like, huh? The puppet's going to creep over, she's going to look up and be like, ah! And the puppet's going to kill her. So the puppet hand's going down. Freddy's stopping a door. We saw that in the teaser. Her going to the toy animatronic room. This is interesting. So this is giving me Missing Children's Incident, because it's Afton in the Spring Bonnie suit, and it looks a lot more complete here.
Everywhere.
The puppet freaking creeping up behind her, though. Ooh, that was something I didn't expect to see in the trailer. This is probably my favorite shot in the trailer. Seeing the puppet, albeit a bit blurry and fuzzy in the background, but seeing the puppet kind of just walking up. I mean, now maybe it's somebody in a suit. It's kind of hard to tell, but to me, like, it just, like that's the puppet. Like that shocked me. It still seems like maybe it's some sort of dream sequence. Like maybe Charlie, because I'm assuming the puppet's gonna be Charlie. We all thought it was gonna be Garrett, but it doesn't really seem like that's where they're going with that. Some sort of haunting sequence here in the house.
Everywhere.
My man's Toy Bonnie's hand. Get to see that again. a vision from one of the toy animatronics, I'm guessing. Probably just Freddy's. Freddy walking around. I'm still curious to see where this fits into the... Like, where that specific scene. Balloon Boy swimming in the water. I don't know why this person's in the water in the first place, but Balloon Boy swimming in the water is enough. Mangle freaking riding on top of a car. That looks insane. Holy. They're going all out in this. This must be a flashback because the suit is like super intact. So this is probably a flashback to some version of the missing children's incident because Spring Bonnie is in full, but here he's in the withered suit. So I have a feeling that Vanessa's gonna be haunted by him. Also, he's got a lot more buck teeth look here than he did in the first movie. I feel like the suit looks a little different here. But maybe that's just me. Also, yeah, I feel like this is either going to be some sort of vision, like hallucination, like she's envisioning that Afton's there, but he's really not. And then he'll turn up at the end because he's going to be there. So Withered Foxy, he looks pretty cool. Same shot of that guy getting dragged through the window. And then the Withereds. Yep. It's weird that he's staying here, though. Like, why is he chilling here? Like, why is he just hanging out here? Like, he's not working here. He shouldn't be working here. I don't think he would be working here. And then the Withers, at least two of them. So we get a good look at Chica, who looks okay. I'm not a big Withered Chica fan. And then Withered Bonnie, stunning. Like, the visuals, I think, drastic improvement over the first movie. This looks absolutely freaking fabulous. That's just, it's breathtakingly beautiful. That's amazing right there. And then that's it, right? Yeah. Overall, absolutely freaking hyped. This looks 10 trillion times better than the first movie, and I liked the first movie. This looks like it's going to be amazing, and looks like it's potentially going to be a lot more scary. And there's a lot more scenes in the dark. There's a lot more scenes like at night. And there also it looks like there's going to be like hallucinations and visions and stuff like that. Because like the shot where Vanessa's chilling, where is it? That's probably not going to show up here.
Where are you gonna run?
It's right after this, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm guessing that like here and just before, like wherever she is like the lights on and it's fine. I'm gonna guess that Afton's not just like chilling behind her and she's just sitting here like kind of casually, just like, oh, you know, I'm minding my business, and then just Afton's just also standing there. Like, I'm gonna guess that's not a thing. So I'm guessing this is some sort of hallucination, but I'm really curious to see where this scene fits in. I'm really feeling like we're gonna see the missing children's incident. Maybe this will be the start of the movie, where it looks like maybe he's actually like hunting down the kids, which would be kind of crazy. But we're definitely gonna get some flashbacks, and I'm really curious to see how they tie in that. But the overall plot, I think, will go along the lines of, it's been however many years since the first movie, and Abby, Mike, and Vanessa are all kind of like a little family unit of their own. They're kind of just chilling. At some point, they are like, hey, we'll go back and visit the old animatronics, but like, they're not going to actually do that, so they're kind of lying to Abby. But I think the scene where the people show up to, like the ghost hunters show up to the FNAF 2 location, will be when the toys activate. And with a lot of the Twisted Ones references and connections here, I think that the toys are going to be the stand-in for the Twisted Ones. So instead of having these like weird hallucination disc, like sound disc thingies that make you see things that you don't actually, or that aren't actually there, I think that the toys will be the ones doing Afton's bidding. So whether it's like maybe even Afton's the one that's talking through the talker. Like, it's kind of hard to say. But I have a feeling that the toys will be the stand-in for the Twisted Ones, which also might leave in the possibility that we're going to see a original animatronics versus toy animatronics showdown, or like Wizards versus toys, because in the Twisted Ones there's a whole like animatronic boogie breakdown battle at like the end where the original animatronics start beating up the Twisted Ones, and it's like this big animatronic battle. Maybe we'll see that in this movie. That would be kind of insane. Like, imagine like original Freddy like squaring up with Toy Freddy, and he like gives him a big ol' like right hook or something like that, going all out. Toy Bonnie grabs the guitar, spins it around, and like stabs Bonnie in the chest. Like, it's a whole crazy singing animatronic breakdown battle. Maybe we'll see that in here. Like, it's hard to say, but I think the toys aren't going to be haunted. I have that impression that they aren't going to be haunted, and that they're going to be under the control of Afton in some way, shape, or form, just like in the Twisted Ones. Even though in the Twisted Ones they don't tell you that until the very end, where Afton shows up and he's like, "Wahaha! I've been here the whole time." They'll probably do a little bit better than that, you know, for the movie. But I think that if we're gonna look at it through the perspective of the Twisted Ones book, the Twisted Ones are trying to kill Charlie because they're under control of Afton, and they're trying to kill her because she spring locked Afton. So what I'm imagining is that the toys are reactivated or something, and they're under Afton's control or under his command in some way, and they're set out to attack Mike and Abby and probably Vanessa, in that their goal is to try to just kill a bunch of people and kill them specifically, which is probably why we see Mangle riding on top of the car. Like, I'm guessing that's what we're going to see there. The Wizards, I'm still not sure if they're supposed to be the originals or not. I think it would be a little bit weird to have the originals and the Wizards coexist at the same time. I just think that'd be a little bit odd, and maybe they'll do that. It would just be kind of weird because they're supposed to be the same. Although Secret of the Mimic kind of threw that out the window. So maybe they aren't supposed to be the same. Who really knows? It's kind of hard to say what we're going to really expect there, but I think that the Wizards and the puppet are going to be doing their own thing, and the toys are going to be doing a separate thing. So they're going to be kind of two distinct groups of animatronics, all acting kind of on their own. The Wizards are probably most likely haunted because they are in the game, so they're probably the haunted ones controlled by Charlie / the puppet, and maybe Garrett puppet, but most likely Charlie puppet. And then the toys are under Afton's influence and control. And so maybe the story will be that the puppet is kind of, you know, because the puppet's not necessarily the greatest character in the games. Like she's not the most like nicest person in the game. She jump scares people, so you know she's not necessarily a good guy. But I have a feeling that maybe we'll see something where she kind of attacks people, and then towards the end gets like flips sides, and her and the Wizards will start to attack Afton and the toys. Because if we know anything about the puppet, we know that she is relatively conscious and relatively aware about what's going on. So she's smarter than most other animatronics. So I think the two groups are Afton and the toys, which is like Toy Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Mangle. And then you have the puppet and the Wizards, so, you know, the same four band there. Balloon Boy's also probably lumped in with the toys. And you'll have these two groups of animatronic characters being led by two distinct spirit characters, so Afton and Charlie. And at some point, probably towards the end of the movie, they're going to butt heads, which is why they'll be able to kind of explain away a big animatronic battle. Like, the toys are just robots being controlled by Afton. The Wizards are spirits being controlled by the puppet. There's a big animatronic battle at the end. And then Afton will, like, reveal himself. Because in the Twisted One books, he shows up for, like, 2 scenes. He shows up dead as a corpse in one scene where Charlie and Jessica go, he's dead, and they just find his corpse. And then at the end of the book, he like shows up and he's like, I've been the villain the entire time. I have a feeling they're going to kind of do something similar, although Afton's presence will be much more felt throughout the movie than it did in the Twisted Ones book. But I have a feeling he'll reveal himself at the end and be like, I've actually been controlling everything this whole time. And Abby, I drew you here because I needed you here for some reason, way, shape, or form. And then the puppet's going to be like, it's Afton, I hate this guy. And then they're going to be a big brawl. And they're all going to fight. And they're all going to beat each other up. And hey, maybe they'll take the scene out of the book where somebody bashes Afton's head against a rock. Because they do that in the book. So maybe we'll get to see that. But I do have a feeling we're going to see Springtrap at least a little bit towards the end. Maybe they won't go that far, but I think they will. I think they'll go that far, especially with how much we're seeing him throughout the rest of the movie. It would be a little weird to not include him at the end in at least like a, hey, I'm here. So I'm curious to see where they'll go with all of that. But I think the general premise will be that the toys are reactivated somehow. They're under Afton's control. He's sending them out to kill people in an attempt to go kill Mike, Abby, and Vanessa. And so they kind of just rampage their way along there to get to their goal. And then the puppet is kind of doing their own thing with the Wizards and isn't necessarily a big fan of people. And eventually it'll get like revealed that, you know, it's Afton, and then I don't really know what they're going to do. Are they going to... Because, like, at the end of the Twisted Ones, Charlie, the main character, gets trapped in one of the Twisted One suits and supposedly killed. So, I don't know if they'll go down that route. Like, are they going to go down the route of having one of the main characters supposedly being killed off? If it's supposed to be a trilogy of movies, you always end the second part of a trilogy on a really sour note. So, like... trilogies that we know, Star Wars, the first movie ends with they blew up the Death Star but the Empire still exists. The second one ends with we just have a handful of ships, Han Solo's captured, I lost my hand, things are looking really down, but there's a glimmer of hope. And then the third one, Return of the Jedi, ends with, you know, the Empire's defeated, the Emperor's dead, Darth Vader turned back to the light side and he's dead, and it ends on a really great note. Another example, Avatar: The Last Airbender, end of season 1, they defeat some of the Fire Nation, but, you know, it still exists. End of season 2, Aang almost dies, but there's a glimmer of hope. And then end of season 3, they win the day by defeating the Fire Nation, and the Fire Lord's defeated. And everybody's, like, happy because the day is saved. So if it's a trilogy of movies, the first one ends with, we defeated Afton, but, you know, like, it's still not over. The animatronics are out there, and we see that Afton, you know, he's still alive, right? So the movie ends on a relatively positive note for our characters, but it's not a great note. The third movie will probably end with Afton being killed and it being like, you know, they save the day, Afton's dead, all of the spirits are set free, that kind of stuff. So this one has to end on a really bad note. So if anybody's going to this movie expecting the end of the movie to be like really great in terms of like things end up really nice, I have some sad news for you, because I think things are going to be a really bad note. Either Mike, I doubt Mike is going to be injured or killed in some way. I just don't think it'll work out that way. Either Abby gets captured, stuck, caught somewhere, either spring locked or something, or potentially Vanessa will, because I wouldn't be surprised if they reveal her as an animatronic. There's been talks of that. I know Matt Pat brought that up a little bit, and some people bring up like the novel kind of weirdly insinuates that she has some weird quirks to her. I wouldn't be surprised if they go that route, because if they're like the books, there's got to be some sort of robo person here. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they go down the route of robotic person and it's Vanessa. So maybe the movie will end with like the big brawl and Vanessa will get trapped and supposedly killed, which will leave Mike in a not great place, and Abby will be really sad, and Afton escapes somehow. And then it sets up for the third movie where Afton will come back. Vanessa will be revealed to have been a robot of some kind, but she's still alive. And then they kill Afton in some way, shape, or form. I know there's also talk that Abby is going to become Circus Baby. Based on what I'm seeing here, there's like no insinuation of that, unless they want to go the route of the books and just throw Circus Baby in at the last minute in the third book. or have that be like for the third movie, where like Circus Baby and the sister location animatronics just show up out of the blue. So maybe they'll go that route. I really hope they don't. But I think the movie will end with something really bad happening to, well, it happened to Vanessa at the end of the first movie, so maybe it won't. But either Vanessa or Abby will have something really bad happen to them, leave Mike in a really bad place, and Afton will escape. That's my guess towards the end of the movie. The puppet is either going to escape as well and live, or will be killed in some way by the brawl. The original animatronics will still kick around in some way, shape, or form to be used in the third one, because they kind of have to be. And I think that's going to be what we're going to see with the movie. So that's my general thought on the movie and the trailer. I think it looks really great, and even if they use a lot of the stuff from the Twisted One books, I think it's the worst out of the trilogy in terms of the books. But if they do it right, then it can be really good. Like, it has some good plot points. It's just the writing that really sucked for that book. So if they take the general plot points from the book, turn it into the movie, and give it like a million times better writing, we're looking at a pretty decent movie here. So from everything I've seen, it looks like it's going to be really stunning, really amazing. I'm going to be going. At this point, I don't really have anybody to go with, since, you know, David's going to be out of town for the next like year. Well, we're down to like 10 months, so that's a bit nice. So at this point, I'm going by myself. Going to be a little bit weird, but it should be fine. And I'm going to be going day of, because I have to. You know, I'm a FNAF person / a FNAF theorist. I'm going to be having to go day one. I'm pretty sure I'm taking that day off. I'm going to use all my power to get that day off so that I can just go see the movie like right away and not have to like bother with work and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be seeing it day of, and then probably like the next day I'll do like a big review video on it. So that's going to be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. I like that they released the trailer. I don't know why they couldn't wait like a little over a week, like 2 weeks-ish, till like August 8th. They could have released it on the 11th birthday of FNAF. I don't know why they didn't. I'm not complaining, because I really like that we got the trailer. I just think it's a little weird that they didn't just wait a couple weeks and post it. Like, at this point, you're already close enough. It was just a little bit weird. Anyway, that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a bit of a longer video, but a bit of a like kind of sporadic, just hey, you know, it's here. So I really like it, and we'll just kind of wrap things up here. We'll do a quick outro. We won't do anything fancy. I'll just give a quick shout out to my channel members. Thank you guys so much. Here's your video shout out. That's about it. And for your questions of the day, I got, you know, your 2 questions. There's always 2. First of all, what did you think of the trailer? Did you think it was cool? Did you think it wasn't cool? And for your second question, which animatronic are you really excited to see? So you got the 4 withers, you got the toys plus Balloon Boy and the puppet. You got, I won't include Afton because he's like a person. He's technically an animatronic, but he's a person. So out of the toys, Balloon Boy and the puppet, and the withers, which character are you most excited to see? Mine's obviously Toy Bonnie. I'm really hyped to see him. So just let me know those answers down below if you made it this far in the video. And at that, I will see you in the next one. Adios.